independent and dependent variables. The second page looked like this. This is the second half of your notes. Make sure you have this notes page and you are writing on this notes page for your flipped classroom. Do not write on a separate sheet of paper. Please make sure you have this notes page. You should have picked it up from your teacher. If not, please print it out from Google Classroom. Alrighty, so we know that we're going to talk about independent and dependent quantities, but we're also going to talk about how to display independent and dependent quantities. So when you have a graph and a table, there are also ways to display independent and dependent quantities. We're going to use the graph below to determine the independent and dependent quantities. So if we look at our graph, we see our y-axis and we see our x-axis. The y-axis says the total pounds lost and the x-axis says the number of weeks. So if we're determining our independent variable, we know that it's the x-axis because the x-coordinates represent independent variables. So the independent variables would of course be the number of weeks. If we think about our dependent variables, then of course that is going to be represented on the y-axis, which are our y-coordinates. So the dependent variable is the total pounds lost. So when we need to list our independent quantities, we're just going to list all of the quantities that are along the x-axis. So we have quantities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those are all the quantities along the x-axis. The number of weeks is the independent variable. And then our dependent quantities are going to be our total pounds lost on the y-axis. And those quantities are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. Again, remember, independent is going to be on the x-axis and dependent is going to be on the y-axis. Now, we're going to label the independent and dependent variables for each table. Let's look at number 5. If I look at my table, I see two different categories. The number of pounds represented by P and the total weight. Well, let's think about it. Would the pounds be affected by the weight or the weight be affected by the number of pounds? Well, your total weight is basically the number of pounds, the total number of pounds. So if I have 5 pounds in this particular situation, it would affect the total weight. So my independent is going to be the number of pounds and my dependent will be the total of weight. The total weight depends on the number of pounds. All right, the next one has hours and miles. Independent will be our hours and dependent will be the total number of miles. When we look at both of these tables, what we may notice is that there is something happening to the 5 to get you to 185. There's something happening to 10 to get to 190, 15 to get 195, and 20 to get to 200. We'll be discussing the different relationships between the x and the y coordinate throughout our multiple representations unit. All right, let's look at number 7. Pause the video when you're going to tell me what is the independent and dependent variable. Come back and check for your correct answer. All right, so the independent variable is the number of months and the dependent variable is the total cost. So that was kind of like our Netflix subscription problem from earlier. I would like for you to go ahead and do problems number 8, 9, and 10 on your own. Check back with your teacher to find out if those problems are correct. Please don't forget to do problems 8, 9, and 10 on your own. Have a great day.